Yes. I mean, along these lines then, one of the things I also remember was if people have ever watched any of those Perkz highlight movies, there's been quite a few good ones. I know it's when he left G2, they did a pretty good one. There's one of the clips from this final is the one you lost against T1, but it's where he's just like killing Faker in some like mad way. Like this was when I remember as well. This, like now Perkz has arrived. Like all those memes, because everyone now, you know, they've all disappeared under a rock, Youngbuck, all those people who made all those jokes about Perkz being a choker and shit. Like now that even the same people say he's the best, like what people I think forget is it's very easy when someone's a great player to just pretend like they were just always that good. They just stayed at a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 the whole career. Perkz that you got at the beginning of season 6 and the Perkz in season 7 and even beyond, like what development have you seen? What changed about him from this young? I always say, because I always make the joke because he flamed me in like 2015 on Twitter before he got an LCS. Like I always say, no, you didn't do bad for a cocky fucking Croatian kid of solo queue who's flaming everyone. So how have you seen the development of him as a player?
I think he matured an immense amount, and I think especially the Worlds 2016 that we talked about hit him so incredibly hard because he was very cocky, and he got extremely humbled at that tournament. He was completely in shambles after that, and I think he had the right people around him, especially the right players around him to kind of get him back on track, and I think he completely changed his demeanor at the time and just became a lot more humble and mature in that regard. And just to add on to that, because he did play Faker, you'd think that at that time in 2017 a player would be afraid of playing Faker, but there is no fear in Perkz. He was always just happy to play against all of these gods and just trying to kick their ass. You know, he was really confident in himself, and that's also why he has been so successful. And yeah, I just wanted to add that because I've seen him only being scared once in his entire career in the 2 years that I've worked with him, and that was the first time he had to play against Caps. Perkz might not agree, but that's how I interpret that he was actually kind of afraid to play Caps. But he also got over that after just playing against him. But just to see how fearless he was playing against all these guys that were legends. Like we were an EU team that barely ever made it out of groups. You know, we had the semi run with the Origin and Fnatic ones, but we were just supposed to make it out of groups and then kind of die out in quarters in main tournaments. But this guy was he wanted to play against Faker. He was smiling when we would lose a game in a best of 5. Like, okay, now it's exciting. That's fun. And that's just, he does that in front of the camera, but he's actually like that backstage as well. This guy knows no fear, and I think he just got way better with his whole demeanor after being humbled in 2016 to just answer the question.
Right, obviously that's something now. I mean, it's one of my jobs as someone who makes the narratives and tries to put in the context and stuff. That's one of the things that we all assign to Perkz now, because I mean, there's even tangible proof. Like he still has that absurd record of game 4s where like basically if you're up 2-1 on him in a series, like get ready for game 5. You have to play one, because even now he's still got it. It's still, I'd have to go look at the numbers, but it's something absurd, like 28-4 or something in game 4. So, and we're talking about series against Koreans, series against everyone in Europe in playoffs. Is there something special about him under pressure?
Not that I noticed particularly, just again, scare-free. Maybe he does perform better. I mean, I also remember the game 5 against RNG at Worlds 2018 in the quarters. He completely clutched the entire game against an RNG that was a tournament favorite, or one of, I guess, top 4 teams. He just completely dumpstered them in game 5. Just a man without fear. So whether it's a game 1 or a game 5, I guess he just doesn't really get affected that much, which is much better than, I guess, 99% of pro players, because everyone gets affected a little bit.
Of course. How would you actually describe him as an actual mid laner? Because one thing I thought was very weird is I noticed when he came back to being mid lane in G2, and then especially when he went to Cloud9, people were talking like he's like the mirror image of Caps, and that he's supposed to be destroy everyone with solo kills. And I never really saw him as that type of mid laner personally. So what type of mid laner was Perkz when you had him in your teams?
Overall brilliant, because he will always perform well in lane. And keeping in mind that back then there wasn't much coaching, so also things like side laning wasn't something that I taught him at all.
Right.
But right now, if I have to teach a player how to play on the side lane, I would show clips from Perkz in 2016, 2017. Because he just had the inherent natural talent to just play the side lane perfectly and to know how to play with the folk, where to put the vision, when there's a threat on the map. I just think this guy has such a great instinct for where everyone on the map is, even when he can't see them. And that is one of his biggest attributes. Also had a very large champion pool. He would bust out the Zillion at sometimes, which a lot of carry players don't like playing that kind of style.
Of course.
And in draft, he just always said, "Joey, I'm not good at drafting. I'm not going to do it. Just pick me something." And that's very respectable. He just said, "Pick me something at some point, and we'll make it work." So, yeah, that was great.